You might be waiting for something to change. You might be waiting for something to happen. A miracle, a blessing, or anything for you to actually change and do something. But darling, nothing is going to happen if you do not decide to control and change something in your life. Nothing is going to change. Nobody's coming to save you. And honestly, nobody's obligated to even save you. Not your mom, not your sister, not your brothers, not your father, or no one. No one owes you that. You owe it to yourself to actually get up and do something about your life. It's even funny to think that an external source should come and save you when you don't even care enough about yourself. I was that person once. I had a victim mindset. I thought, oh, somebody needed to come and save me until I actually changed my mindset and then my life completely took a new turn. In this video, I'll tell you how you can change your own life and what you need to do. So, kindly find a comfortable spot and relax. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Happy and I'm your host. So let's get right into it. The first thing you need to know is realize your own self-sabotages. Self-sabotage, for example, can be like you're not willing to accept help, you don't even fancy compliments from people, you isolate yourself constantly, you abandon people, you create an issue before they hurt you just because you don't want to get hurt. Ask yourself what your self-sabotaging behaviors are. For me, my biggest self-sabotage was I had low self-worth, such that I accept anything anyone does to me because I had no boundaries and I did not feel worthy enough to stick up for myself. I didn't value myself enough. So if someone treats me badly, I'll accept it because I don't care anyway, because I believed nothing would change if I stand up for myself. So I tend to attract people that use me, abuse me, take me for granted, things like that, because I would just allow it to happen. That's the only thing I knew my whole life. So I was comfortable with it until I actually was like, wait a minute. I can say no, you're not going to treat me like that. You will not treat me like that. These are my boundaries. You will not cross them. And when I realized that I can actually say that, my life changed. The way people treated me changed. I once read a quote that says, you do not attract toxic people. Toxic people go to everyone. You're just allowing them to stay in your own life. And that's so true. Because toxic people are not picky. They are not picky. They will go to anyone who is ready to pull them in. So if you are ready to nurture toxic people, if you have very, very low self, they will latch onto you because you are an easy prey for them. You are a victim for real. Look at yourself and think, okay, wait, in what ways do I sabotage myself? In my case, when it's glaring that someone is hurting me emotionally, psychologically, whether a relationship, friendship, or even amongst family members, I kept taking it all in because I had abandonment issue. I was always worried and scared that if I speak up, I would be abandoned. So I kept taking a lot of rubbish in until something serious happened and I knew I needed to create boundaries. I no longer care if I was alone. I was no longer having it. I began to stand up for myself. And guess what? It worked. I really had to work on that. And now that I did work on it, all my relationships, friendships, everyone that I meet now, I create boundaries. Don't cross me. Another thing I realized is that these things you grew up learning in your household or community, what we were taught is not a fact. What you were being taught your whole life is just what your parents have been taught by their own parents, and they have been taught by their parents as well. And it goes a long way. But those are not facts. Those are their beliefs with their lives and what they have lived and learned from. It's not bad or wrong for you to choose a different direction because what they told you is right is what was right for them. But you know, generations change. The world changes. Nothing stays the same. And we have to evolve as well. We cannot stay with a generational mindset for many, many years and keep going in circles with the same mindset. You won't be able to thrive because other people are evolving. They are all doing further and further with their mindsets, and you will be stuck in a mindset that is maybe from the 1800s, 1900s. It's an old mindset. So realize that as well. What you have been taught is not a fact. So when I realize the people around me are also people, my parents, my community leaders, those people that I look up to, they are also flawed human beings like me who went through life, who went through trauma, learning stuff, and they still learning till today. Even my mom completely changed her mindset when I changed mine. And now I can even teach her things. I can say to her, like, Mom, this and this. And our communication became so much better, more open-minded, because she's willing to actually learn and listen. So nothing is a fact. Everyone is speaking from their experience. I am also speaking from my experience. Even the advice I give will not be the same for everyone, simply because you did not live my life and you cannot apply it the same way. So take what resonates that can actually help you and apply it in your life. Start to look at people and think, okay, what they are telling me is what they think and believe is fact based on their reality. But I do not have to take that fact for myself. I can also look at that thing they are saying from my own perspective and have an opinion about it. Realize that you create your own reality. I was so astonished when I found out that my life is not set. It doesn't have to be this way. I realized that I could actually change things about my life and I could control what happens or who I chose as a friend, who I want to choose as a partner, who I deal with, who I involve myself with. Whatever I decide to do in my life, I could choose. I had decisions, decide to do whatever in my life. I could choose, I could decide. I was shocked because my whole life I was told, oh no, it's this way, this is how you do things, you follow it this way. But when I actually stepped out of that mindset and I was like, it doesn't have to be this way. I do not have to suffer this way. I do not have to go through what my parents went through. I could do things differently. That was when my life started to open up for me. That's when I became successful because I started to trust my own judgment. I started to see like, wow, Abby, the decisions that you actually made are good and they are bringing you further and further, than any of these things that people have told you your whole life. One thing is when somebody tells you this is the way, this is that way, when things go wrong, you tend to blame them. But when you take decisions for yourself, you take accountability, you take responsibility, and imagine these decisions are now making sense. You realize it doesn't have to be this way. I can change things for myself. It doesn't matter where I come from. It doesn't matter how hard my life was. I can change it around and can make it amazing. Another thing, guys, is practicing self-control. See, I used to have no self-control at all. This would show up in my emotions. I was very, very aggressive. Like when I was much younger, I would yell all the time. Obviously, it was my environment. That's the only thing I saw yelling, shouting. I thought that was the way I could be heard or get my point across. In my home, I would like yell at my siblings. I would be very aggressive as well. It got so bad until I started to practice self-control. And I was actually like, no, I am not like this. I'm not going to get aggressive anymore. I'm not going to let my emotions control me. I'm not going to let these things get over me because I control my thoughts, my body. I control the things I eat, the things I put in my mouth. I control the things I say. I'm going to control the things I listen to. And I'm not going to listen to things negatively on the news or things that drain me or make me feel even more stupid. No, I will control myself and I will actually decide to listen to something that would educate me because I have control over my mind. I have control over the things that I watch. I have control over the things that I feed my mind. I have control over everything. My decisions to do more. I started to practice self-control. My self-worth started to, rise like nothing else because I could actually be like, oh, happy. I'm not saying that it was easy. I relapsed many times. I fell, but I got up again. But every time I could control myself and whatever I do in my decisions, I started to feel very confident about myself. It raised my self-esteem like nothing else because I could actually be like, oh, Abby, you did this before. You can do it again. When it was another time for me to make a decision, I'll make a decision with more confidence because I had shown myself already in the past that I had made good decisions and I have control over these things and I've controlled myself about certain aspects in my life. So I try to start to trust myself about it. Another thing again, guys, do what others are not doing. I was actually watching this interview of David Goggins, and he basically said it is so easy to be great these days because other people are not doing anything. It is really only a small amount of people that take that leap of faith and can actually become successful no matter what the odds are because they have tunnel vision on their goals and they actually go for it. Other people do not have that courage. Other people do not want to heal. Other people do not want to go to the gym. Other people do not want to do yoga. Other people do not want to control themselves, not go out all of the time, not abuse substances. No, they constantly go for the easiest way out. Everyone wants the easiest way out. What's comfortable to them, allowing toxic people constantly drain them. But then you have the people that are like, you know what, I don't want any of this anymore. I am actually going to do what's best for me. I'm actually going to start taking responsibility for what is happening in my life. These kind of people are the people that actually start to do what is uncomfortable for them. They start to not allow toxicity anymore. They see the red flags and they say, no, I'm sorry, you cannot come in. Do they feel lonely? Absolutely. It is lonely. You know how lonely it is to get treated with respect. Oh my God. You don't have a lot of people around you because not a lot of people are willing to respect you, and you have to accept that in life. So you have to be like, you know what? Either ways, I'm going to have tons of friends, but they gossip about me and spread my secrets. And I'm going to have tons and tons of relationship where I don't feel valued, I don't feel respected, and then you feel less of self-worth and everything. Or you step back and say, you know what? No, no, I'm going to be lonely. It's okay. It's open my lonely at the top.
Bang, 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 bang.
Because honestly, if I could do it, anyone can do it. Abused kids have more advantage over the unabused ones because from a